It was really focused on how the new administration and some of the cuts and some of the effects of the decisions being made are going to affect the federal funding and then eventually affect the state funding, because the Kentuckiana Works budget is really substantially supported by some federal dollars that we may or may not be getting. And some of those actually may be going away sooner than later. So it was really about, let's really focus on what's the priority, and let's make sure those programs are intact and we are taking care of that. And then what can we do to supplement the other things? How can we be creative with continuing some of the initiatives that are extremely important, but maybe do not fall in line with what is expected from those federal dollars. But I will tell you, there's a very exciting thing going on, and Michael Grayton, who is the executive director for all of Kentuckiana Works, he's coming out finally, and he's going to come out this week, Wednesday, and we're gonna ride around and we're gonna talk a lot about what we have going on in the city, a lot of the workforce initiatives, some of the needs that we have right here in the city, and then how can we do two things. One, be sure that we are training the kids that are in Bullitt County schools to make sure they're getting the education for those that are not going on to a four-year degree, not going on to a technical college, that just want to immediately hit the workforce. Let's figure out how to get them specific training that they can immediately get in to a mid-level job at Amazon, GFS, and some of our other manufacturing and distribution centers. And if all goes well, he actually has money for a grant. So we could do a cycle where we put together X amount of dollars. They're gonna go to a very specific skill set training type. We're gonna put some kids' names down. We're gonna follow those kids through their training when they graduate, see where they are employed, and then look at them in a year, and look at them in 3 years. And let's see if that's working. Then let's say that we get 50, 75,000 this first grant. If we are functional and we are very successful with that, then maybe the next time it's 100,000 or 150,000. And anyone who knows about our budget, especially in the specific job set, skill set training, we need it. We have so many manufacturers right here. Can you imagine if you are the person that you really are techie, if you just learned to work the scanners at the Amazon, if that's what you can learn in high school and you can hit the ground running, you know how to fix them, you know how to work them, you know how to immediately interface them with the software that they use, that's a very specific skill set. You're not getting in college and you're not getting in a trade school, but if you can get that at Bullitt Central, you are guaranteed a $25 an hour job. Okay, so we're winning. So that's an update on Kentuckiana Works. That's some of the stuff we're trying to do. The second part of Michael's trip, and this is something the mayor is so passionate about, let's really start exploring how do we get other folks here and how do we get the jobs filled with public transportation. So we're gonna just keep saying it out loud and saying it out loud, because that is also a really big deal. And so that's something the mayor's are passionate about. We're all passionate about getting our jobs filled here in the city of Shepherdsville. And I think Kentuckiana Works can be really big with both of those things. Any questions about Kentuckiana Works?
Yeah, it's going to start on a small scale
Very
for all
small.
of you. I mean,
but we got to keep saying it out loud. We got to keep validating it.
We have people that just can't drive, but they need jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, I'm excited.
Moving on.
Do we have any grants we've pursued for that?
Not at this point, but
we are working on, it's more of a program,
Yeah.
but it is dollars that will not be, it's not a payment plan, it's not a loan. It is an investment basically from Kentuckiana Works into the Bullitt County school system, and that's where we're really gonna watch and have that cycle where we can document it, because if we can do a really good presentation in 24 months, and then in 36 months, and track these success stories, that's the best way to get more money.
Wait, are you talking about the buses?
Yeah, that was my
Oh,
specific
sorry, I
question.
was talking about the skill set. No,
No, that's fine.
I'm not aware. I'm hoping Michael, once he gets out here, he'll have some, kind of some insight in a place.
There's
to
a lot
start
of
with
grant
that.
money we're looking for. That's not one of them
Yeah,
yet, but I'm not saying it's not
I'm
part of it.
sorry,
We don't,
I'm not.
Because we're still
But I
looking
can
at,
look into
are
it.
we looking at TARP to possibly bring the express
The-
back?
It's,
we
At
haven't,
least the express?
but that's what, I'm hoping, Michael, if we can drive him around and show him here, everywhere from JOM, let's go into the industrial park and make a loop, he can help us say, okay, you know what, this is what makes sense. Let's take this back to Louisville Metro, let's take this back to the mayor's office and say, okay, we need some funding for this, because I just had a tour and this is exactly. So that's not a strong suit of mine, but I'm willing to ask anybody and everybody who will listen, how do we get that? How do we get this ball rolling?
he's gonna do
It's
it.
knowing that the unemployment numbers in Jefferson County are so high that they can, if they can.
Come here.
If TARP can help get those people out here, we we can fill our jobs.
They struggled a lot. Tark struggled out here
I
last,
know it, they're already.
and they're struggling in Louisville, so I don't know if they're gonna
Bus
be, we're
drivers
not gonna be
in
on top of the
general,
radar right now.
Such a tough
Well,
gig.
what I was gonna say is, right now, they're looking at new routes, like to fit their funding. And I was thinking maybe if we get in on the ground floor and say, hey, can we get a,
Absolutely. Like I said, I wanna ask anyone and everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
next is, I participate on the steering committee for the Bullitt County Public Schools, so that's just a nice, segue into that. It's the steering committee that Jesse Bacon is the chair of, and then it's just a collection of, some of the school board is on there, but it's also business leaders, it's city, it's dignitaries, and then it is parents. And right now, what we're focusing on, two things that really is the platform of how we succeed in teaching our kids, not just to move on to college, but also the trade schools, and then again, those that are entering the workforce, even military and first responder communities. There's so much training we can offer during high school that make them so employable, and not just the baseline employment. We're really reaching for these mid-level jobs right off the bat. And so there's just a couple of things I want to share with you. The pillars right now of BCPS: student learning, student readiness, community engagement, safety and well-being, operational effectiveness, and proactive innovation. So those are just pillars that each teacher is trying to incorporate every year in their curriculum. Each principal is trying to make sure that they're holding their teachers accountable. And then one other thing that I really love, there's a graduate profile that our kids start being introduced to in elementary school. And these are things that are complementing you as a graduate. These are things that you're reaching for even as a kindergartner, third grader, fifth grader. You want to be a community contributor. You want to be an effective communicator, innovative problem solver, mastery learner, productive collaborator, and a self-directed navigator. So that can be for the person that's going to end up to be a surgeon, or a person that's going to end up being a shift manager at Amazon. Every one of those pillars, every one of those, they apply. And so I just ask if you are interested, or if you have any response to any of that. I'm happy to take your opinion and to represent the city in that way. I do think we're making some really great strides, because now that we have identified what's important, we have to put metrics in place to make sure that we can measure as a parent, as a city council member, how are our schools doing well? And when you're communicating with our kids, are you getting these things out of it? Do they understand how to contribute to their community? Do they understand how to be accountable? So I'm trying to go fast, but I just want to let you know that's a big one, and it's near and dear to all of our hearts. So if you are interested, if you want to give some feedback, I'm happy to represent anybody and everybody. Anybody have any questions on that?
not yet.
Perfect. Moving on. Businesses, we have two series that we're really trying to pull in a demographic of businesses here in the city and make them feel special with the way we communicate. We want to identify their needs. So we know the businesses on Buckman meetings are going very well. We're actually moving those to every other month. We had a great turnout the last time, great conversation. Everybody's getting to know everybody. How can I support your business? What are you doing? When's your next event? And what are your needs as a business owner? So it's great. We have property owners, we have landlords, we have small businesses, and some folks are just in downtown. They've been watching their growth, and they'll come just sit and listen. So it's a great group. So we're moving from quarterly to every other month. And then the next series is the industrial group, and that's what we've been waiting for. We had a great meeting with Prologis. There's a gentleman by the name of Adam who's very excited to be a part of that. So we're gonna just lean on a couple of the business leaders from Browning, from Prologis, get everybody in the room, same concept. It's just not small businesses on Buckman. These are multi-million dollars, sometimes with a B, billion-dollar businesses, and we wanna figure out, same thing, how do we get them engaged in our community? Because maybe to them, being a good community partner is building a $75,000 fence. But to us, being a good community partner is, what are you doing for us for the park? What are you investing in our youth sports? How are you really getting involved? And so make no mistake, we're gonna be very specific about that. And I think now that we're starting to see some productivity and we're starting to see the dirt move, people are getting more and more excited. Two last things, in case anyone did not know, we attend the Bullitt County Economic Development meetings every month. And after Bob Faust retired, Keith is in a temporary interim executive director position. And so I just want to make sure that everyone knows we do not currently have a full-time permanent executive director in that position, but Keith Griffey is kind of wearing that hat on a temporary basis. So that's important for all of us to know as we're making phone calls and sharing information with your constituents. You want to make sure that you know that Keith's kind of heading that up right now. The Chamber of Commerce is coming up on their annual strategic planning session. A couple of things that you can note, we're focusing heavily on junior leaders. Burnham has a CEO program for middle schoolers. There's going to be a focus for high schoolers, folks that want to be entrepreneurs, want to be business owners, want to get into government, want to get into military. Let's make sure that we're giving you the right tools. But those are creative things. You're not going to get some of the skill sets that you need in the classroom. So the Chamber wants to partner with our schools and businesses to make that happen. And then the last, an update on veterans. We had an amazing vet working meeting at the library on February 26th. We had 12 different businesses represented and probably 6 or 7 nonprofits, all related to veteran service organizations. All of these were veterans that were leading or owning businesses, and it was very similar to the businesses on Buckman. It's just communicating. What can I do to help you? What do I need as a business? And we are just kind of learning and growing together. We talked about grants. The Chamber of Commerce headed that meeting up. They put St. Matthews and Bullitt County Chambers together, so it was awesome. And there was a lot of collaborative efforts going on, and we appreciate the library being involved. It was just a win-win-win. And then obviously we have the Vietnam Veterans Day Parade is approaching. We have 57 posters in the works being made. It's a very, very, it's a positive and amazing and emotional event that we've poured our hearts and soul and spent hours and hundreds of hours on putting everybody's work together. So if you have any questions about that, see me after. But if you can, please come join us on March 29th. And that is my update.
Yeah, you did pretty good. It's a little over time, but it's okay.
I mean, I had a lot to say.
Hey, but I do want to just add real quick.
Yes.
So I went to Bullock Monday and then went to Burnham on Friday. They are doing a lot of those leadership. We get the kids together.
It's
and
exciting.
talk about they're going to actually do
These
some
kids are
projects in the park.
magnificent.
It was really cool. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can see that they're trying to get these kids involved in. I tell you, both those experiences are pretty good. So, good
Those are the
stuff.
future leaders. I
Yep,
mean,
good stuff.
thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to switch up, EJ, before you start on your project. Miss Laura, would you come up here? I want Laura to come up here because Mark 12 did a great job with this white flag this year. We were struggling to try to get around. They actually partnered with us and have something for the city during this time. So I told Laura, obviously, she wanted to come up here and give us kind of an update. So thank you so much. Everybody knows you, but you want to click that button on top there and tell everybody who you are. Oh, closer to you, right there. There you go, it's all green.
I'm Laura Cook. I'm here representing Mark 12 Ministries. I want to give a very quick update. We just closed out the season for the White Flag Shelter. I want to personally thank the mayor. He was part of our kind of collaboration meetings to figure out who's going to do it, where we can do it. So I appreciate him being part of that. Also want to thank Amber because she was helping pump out the information so people would know where it was, how to get involved, stuff like that. So just a quick summary is we were open for 29 nights and we had 3 days of continuous. We did a warming station at Mercy Hill. So from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, we were manning Mercy Hill. 8 at night till 8 in the morning. We moved across the street to First Baptist and we just kept everybody going for 72 hours. That's when we were in the single digits and library was closed, places just didn't have anywhere to be, so we were really proud to be able to pull that together. We had 52 volunteers from all different walks of life, and we ended up having 30 different guests over the course of the 29 nights. Notable was 8 women this year, which is higher than we've had before. We also had 3 children, and we had 19 men. Kind of a takeaway we found is because we had that touch point of people to come and meet with us, we were able to get people to resources that they would not have been able to find on their own. 2 of our guests had some pretty significant medical conditions. One of our volunteers is a nurse practitioner. She was able to kind of check them out, give a professional triage to them, and they actually went for medical care and they both were hospitalized. So this was something that we really feel is a big win because they were there with us, they felt comfortable. We were not a clinical situation. This was just the lady that brought food. Oh, by the way, I'm a nurse. So we were real happy about that. We intercepted 3 people that were from out of state and just found themselves here by circumstances. 2 from the detention center, and 1 was just a lady on an adventure. So we were able to get bus tickets for them to get them to Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida. So those are people that were just passing through, and we were able to help them on their journey. And then 3 of the women that we worked with, we did not have resources locally in Bullitt County for, so we were able to spend a few days with them and get them hooked up with the UP program in downtown Louisville and transport them there so that they could get their ID established, be in a women's shelter, something that was more suitable for their situation. So the big takeaway is the White Flag Shelter is important for the safety overnight of people just sleeping and staying alive, but also us having that touch point of meeting people where they are over a meal and saying, how can we help you change your situation? Where do you need to go? What do you need? So we just were so appreciative to have that for the almost 2 months at First Baptist. If anybody has any questions about specifics, I have a couple extra handouts or just other ways that you can get involved. I'll be in the.
Well, we appreciate it. It's obviously a challenge. Obviously, these kind of, we've had probably one of the worst winters we've had in about 6-7 years. So we got tested a little bit, but it was really great. We came together at the last minute. It is a challenge, and Laura will tell you this. In these meetings that we have, it's about location, who's going to run it, okay, and how's it all going to be taken care of. So obviously it came together with some folks, and we appreciate what First Baptist did as well. So, but it's going to have to work. Every year this is going to be something that I think the community can surround themselves with, and everybody work together, because that's the answer.
That's right.
Laura, thank you, and I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mr. EJ, come on up here. And as EJ comes up here, I want to make sure that you guys know what he's doing today is giving you a preface to what's going to happen next meeting. We're actually having a project that's going to include some housing in our city, but there'll be an annexation piece and some planning and zoning. So, EJ, if you want to introduce yourself again to everybody and do what you got to do to do.
So I'm Pastor EJ, Fielder Grace Church, right there on the Lebanon Junction and Shepherdsville line. Matter of fact, we just purchased this year 26 acres in Shepherdsville, so we are excited about coming closer to this direction. Just a few wins within the community real fast, and my heart to the council is, as there are issues in our county and our city, we want to be that partnership. Like, we are looking for strategic ways outside of just the base model of what a church is, of how we can make an impact. We are actually building a next generation leaders group right now. Last Wednesday night, on just a regular Wednesday, we had over 100 students, high schoolers at our church. They're gathering every single Wednesday, and they're interested in serving and growing. So I'm super excited about what God is doing just in our community, and to see another generation raising up, excited for the spiritual growth and getting involved in things. And so I love all the ideas, and Miss Courtney especially. So with that, I do want to highlight a few things that we got, if that's okay with the church. We got the Party in the Park coming up for Easter on the 19th. And so it's a big event, free event we're going to do there at Frankie Simon Park. We're looking forward to it. Food trucks, carnival games, a whole entire, there's not a charge for anything that we're doing, and we're expecting a pretty good turnout. Miss Amber's been doing a great job, help share that as well. But I just want to put us out there as a church. If there's something that we can do, we're not your normal church. And so we recognize that, and we try not to be, but we're just trying to be a hub for our community to help people. Sunday morning, we had 2 correction officers, a sheriff, and 3 police officers on the first 5 rows. We also had 12 inmates from the Bullitt County Detention Center within those first few rows. And so it's just an amazing thing that God's kind of allowed us to collaborate. We're seeing help, we're seeing healing, we're seeing restoration. One of the inmates actually reached up, tapped the police officer on the shoulder, and said, "You remember me?" He said, "Oh yeah, I remember you." And so just a neat dichotomy of being in a church where you're seeing life change. And so part of that too is just because of our involvement in what you allow us to do within our communities. We're thankful for that. On the other side, because of the purchase of the property, we have 26 acres we're selling, about a quarter of a mile from the church. It's less than 500 yards away from that new development there on
Helen Heights.
61. What is
Helen
it?
Heights.
What's it called one more time?
Helen Heights.
Helen Heights,
it's a
yeah, that new
subdivision.
housing development. We're selling that. If it'd be okay, I'd like to introduce
Yes.
Chris just for a moment. Chris is who we're working with, looking to sell the property to him. He's got some information. I think the big thing is it highlights 2 things. We're adding houses, and which our community desperately needs, and then it's within 500 yards of already development that's being put in, and we're seeing those houses sell super fast. So I'll defer to Chris.
My name's Chris Dickey. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, like EJ said, we're looking at the property over there. It's 27 acres. We've got a proposal for 67 lots for single-family housing over there. We're looking to get annexed into the city so we can run the sewer lines down there and develop that, provide some housing.
Yeah, and part of that, he actually did reach out to Scott and Arthur first to see about those sewer lines to actually be a part of that, because that's a,
Is that down just past 245?
Yes.
uh-huh. Yeah, because they got Hell Heights and it's just about 500 yards down. So they were interested in doing that. When they came to talk to us about it, we were interested in the housing piece, the 67 houses that we'd like to.
Those other houses that are there on septic, right? The ones that are there now?
Oh, the existing home?
No, Hell Heights, no, it's on sewer.
Hella House, yeah.
Yeah,
it's on-
that's in the city. That's in the city.
And this property is in Shepherdsville, so it's on that line, it's in Shepherdsville, yeah.
All those acres in Shepherdsville?
Yeah, 26 acres is in
Yeah,
Shepherdsville,
is it
it's a
an
Shepherdsville
address?
address.
It's a Shepherdsville address,
No,
it's
but
not in the
it's not
city.
city. No,
Not in the
it's
city,
not
no.
city,
Yeah, because there's a lot of places that have Shepherdsville
It's
addresses.
not city, sure.
But you'll see it where it's at, and that's one reason why we were interested in, because it's close proximity to Helen Heights, that we were looking at those, having that housing. So what they're doing today is introducing it. I'm gonna have information I'm gonna send to all of you tomorrow morning about the plats, the designs. They've got all the information on the housing.
And what is it cost gonna be for us to extend sewer to them?
Not our cost,
It's our cost.
their cost. That, we don't do that.
Unless you're volunteering.
I know. No, I mean, no, I just wanna make sure, no, we don't do that. No. I mean, I like these guys, but. I think it's important for you all to understand, we do wanna expand the city in the ways we can. Housing is an easier conversation, because we do need so much more housing in our community. But as we look at that, obviously EJ has an opportunity, to look at that property, and if we look at it from a standpoint of the city, that's 67 more homes. If that's 4 people per home, you're looking at another 300 people that live in our city.
And as a pastor of the church, I can tell you this, that our median age is 38 years old. And many of them live in Bardstown, E-Town, Louisville, outskirts area, and they're looking to move into our community, and they're asking me every week, Pastor, is there houses? How can you help me? We'll rent. Is there apartments that are nice and affordable? Like, help me find a home. And right now, it's very, very hard to do. And so this is gonna
It is
answer the
real
question.
hard.
Yeah,
The
this is gonna answer
housing is
something in our
a
own
struggle. All right, and what we'll do, I just wanna make sure they meet Chris, obviously this is your property, so everything that EJ has to do is, he's the owner of the property, he has to be the one that's actually coming here to talk to you about annexation. So you'll have a first reading on the 24th.
Yep.
And you'll have all the information tomorrow, and then the second reading will be in the first meeting in April, which is April 14th. Now, in that process, what we did find out about, the county, anytime there is an opportunity to annex a piece of property, they want the piece of property to be annexed in first, and then go back to planning and zoning for get your whatever you're looking for. In this case, it's residential. But that's the process we were working with the county on. I can tell you, this is not the only one that's gonna come up. Over the next couple of months, we'll probably have some more opportunity for that, probably 2 more projects like that. So, but they'll be right at the city line. They're not gonna be a mile or 2 down the road, we're not doing that. But I think it's important for them to at least introduce you to their thoughts of having housing. So, I mean, you can have any questions today, or we can actually wait till, we get the information for you. I don't care if you have a question for them now, Brad.
What's the zoning on the property now?
I think there's a residential and ag, so it's a split. There's 2 houses that we're sitting on at one point, and then agricultural.
It's mostly ag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this
from
the
what-
same project y'all tried to?
Same piece of property.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
And so essentially, when that got turned down, that was the point of us purchasing that property. And so when we were no longer able to use it, and then as the Felton E came about, and Chris comes to our church, it's like, hey, this is a perfect place for us to do it. The
But
reason,
it's the same property, but
Same
now
piece
it's,
of property.
but it's a different project.
completely different use. This is
Okay.
residential homes for sale, yeah,
For sale or for rent?
for sale, yeah, for sale.
Yeah, we're really, it's a mix. You got a lot of younger folks that might need it, like multi-dwelling, looking at apartment. There's obviously people, like you said, that are well-established professionals that are just looking for a nice home, close proximity to Shepherdsville.
And those houses aren't setting long. If you look down there,
No.
they're gone, yeah, instantaneously, so
Yeah.
it's,
Any other questions? Again, I'll have everything for you
What
tomorrow.
about flood area there?
what is it?
Flood,
No, we're way outside the
Is
flood,
it
yeah,
outside the
way
flood?
outside, yeah.
Anything else, Mike, Faith, Rob?
Who developed that subdivision, do you know?
Greenwells.
Greenwells.
Okay.
Greenwells. And they called us too, so.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Jennifer?
Do you know what your price point's gonna be for the homes in
That'd
that
be a
area?
good question for Chris. yeah.
We're looking between 300 and 400.
300,000 and 400,000?
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, and I'll make sure I get all that information to you in the morning. All right, Chris, what I'll do for you, I know you've sent some stuff to us, but if we would, just send me a package that you would like the council to have, send it to me tomorrow morning, and we'll get that working on. And as far as the notification, we don't have to do that. Even though you sent me that email, we do not have to do it. We checked and make sure on KRS statutes that we were fine with, make sure who needed to know.
Okay.
And then once we get this annexation piece discussed and voted on, then we'll move forward for you guys to do what you need to do. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Thank you, EJ. All right. All right, with that said, make sure everything is here. And then on the new business, real quick, we did actually mention, we're gonna give you more information as we move forward, and I talked to Todd. By the next meeting, I'll have some more information about I think the biggest thing, getting started with the ordinance as far as the fencing around these dumpsters. We need to make sure that that gets done, but I think it's important that, it's been pointed out to me that obviously there's somebody gonna try to find a way to get around that ordinance. We'll watch and see what happens. Thank you all so much. But I think it's important for us to just make sure, let's see how it rolls out. And if we have to do something to adjust it, we'll get back with you guys.
Yeah, because we don't want too much work on, code enforcement either.
No, it's important, I mean, obviously, this is aesthetically and safety for kids to be around these dumpsters. So I wanna make sure you guys know that.
So what's the plan?
I'm gonna revisit this topic on our next meeting.
Okay.
So we'll just come back a little bit, but I think we really need to roll it out and see. Because right now, we know we've got to discuss, and I talked to Kenny today, about the 2 strip malls that need to make sure how they can get in and out of there to actually service those accounts. But there may be a couple other places in the city, and we'll make those adjustments accordingly. This is more about really aesthetically making it look nice everywhere these dumpsters are at. And again, I noticed them in different places, and it's not that much that we should be able to cover them up. Especially when you have apartments and you got kids, they shouldn't be around these dumpsters.
So the plan is we're gonna leave it at 4
Yes,
cubic yards?
yes, we're gonna roll it out and see how.
And then see how it
Yep.
goes, and then give it some time? Okay.
Yeah, well, I think our better opportunity with that is to make sure, let's see how it rolls out. If there are people really usurping that, then we're gonna have to do what we need to do. But
Yeah, we can always amend it.
Yep.
So, but that was the reason. It just got brought to the attention that Republic offers a smaller size than 4 cubic yards. And so, if we see it coming down to be an issue down the line, there's several ways you can say, okay, 2 cubic yards is not a big deal, we don't care to have it fenced. Or we could say, look, if you're gonna combine 2 of the 2 cubic yards, then those 2 have to be fixed. Right, then those 2 have to be fixed, but if you only have 1 2 cubic, they don't have to. So there's like ways that you all can be creative.
Right.
Depending on how it looks and how it works and all of that. So we're gonna just we're gonna tell, Ray and Jeff
To be
to
noticing what they see.
start going ahead and enforcing.
yeah, we wanna
what
make
you see.
sure, and we're trying to give folks a time, if they don't have a fence around it, to give them some notice, 30, 60, 90 days. We just wanna make sure they understand that's gonna be the new policy. We just need them to understand what they're doing is not gonna be acceptable moving forward. But I wanna be reasonable about anybody that has a dumpster, please just get it taken care of as quickly as you can.
Are we gonna send it, like, put it in the paper or well, I guess it was in the paper, but are we gonna send them, cause a lot of people don't read the paper, but.
No,
They
no,
get
Gonna
a
send
notice.
out-
We're gonna-
Okay. that's what I was
So
gonna
the
ask,
way
yeah.
that code enforcement works, before you
can
ever get a
notice.
citation about an issue and fines start accruing, you get a notice from them, and there's no fine start, just, hey, by the way, FYI. And code enforcement is really good at working with people. So like, if I'm the business owner, and they try to give them, they're gonna give them more than 3 days to put up a fence, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
if I can't get it done, but I contact code enforcement and say, hey, I can't get it installed at this time because they're backlogged, but I've got it set for this date, code enforcement will note that, they'll go out after that date, make sure, they'll follow up. So we really work.
Well, that's
Code
what I'm saying, are
enforcement
they
really
gonna
works
go
with them.
around now and like give out a notice, like, hey,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
And
okay,
they probably will even have a copy of that statute. I
yeah,
mean, they can put that
Yes.
to
Ordinance.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and so they'll tell them a notice before there's any other issue.
Yeah.
And so these property owners will know before we start saying, hey, we're gonna fine you a bunch of
Yeah.
money, so, yeah.
Okay.
July first, correct?
Do
I
what?
think it's July 1st.
July first.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I think it's
so.
around that time, but that gives them at least a good 90 days to get working on this.
And listen, if they reach out and they've got a plan and it's after that date, I mean, as long as they're in communication and they know, like, let's say
We
they-
are not here to.
if
we
they've
don't-
got a date that says, hey, I can't get them out till July 5th,
We're
we're
not
not going to be on them. We're gonna follow up. Now, if by July 10th they haven't, then we're gonna be like, hey, what happened? This was supposed to be done 5 days ago, but they really do work well with homeowners and business owners.
All right, so we'll keep you posted on that as well. All right,
Just so you know, after you guys get the information on the annexation, if you would like to sponsor that ordinance to annex, reach out to me so that I can draft it and put a sponsor on, please.
Yeah, a lot of times we have folks come, this is actually the 5th housing development, has actually talked to us. Some of them are bigger scale than what this gentleman's doing, but the idea is that we definitely want to have these conversations to have more housing in our community. So this is one of those easier conversations than, you know, a commercial business or a light industrial. 'Cause sometimes we have to look at those things, but I know that we're looking at where it's at. And then when this could come up and it works out, because they first talked to Scott and Arthur, because I just want you all to know, as a city, we are not paying that expense to have sewers installed. So, and that's fair, because I think that throughout the history of the city, there's been some times that's done. And I think I just want to make sure it's very clear to everybody here in the public. That is obviously the businesses, or residential development, for them to take care of that. All right. With that said, with no executive session, planning and zoning, obviously Jen was here on that. I've not heard from Dwayne, so I don't think that we have anything on that. Jody, you want to come up here real quick? You put a little Paul Davis thing for obviously the 22nd.
Real quick before he gets up here, July 1st was the deadline under the ordinance, Nikki.
Yes, sir.
Council, we put something out for you. It's the 22nd, March 22nd, from 10 to 4. We're going door to door on all those streets listed below. We're going to be in those houses if they let us check smoke detectors, add smoke detectors. Paul Davis was generous enough to give us 200+ smoke detectors. So we'll be able to take care of those. We'll also be able to take care of anything in the fall. So we're going to do a spring and a fall smoke detector event. Obviously, we haven't identified those houses, but just based upon those, with the crews we'll have in place that day, we're going to hit all of these areas. Any questions on the event? You're more than welcome to walk.
I'll be
with
there,
us.
Chief, at 10. I
Sir?
should be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody's
10.
welcome. We're just going to walk door to door. You're welcome to walk with any of these trucks and companies. Police department's going to be out there with us also to support us, and just make sure you all knew what we were doing.
You know, and one thing for you all to know too is that he's working with Sam right now, and they are looking at the property lines that are around the fire station too. And we are gonna try to put a road back there to that pond. And so, I gotta work with, calling the property owners that we're encroachment on, as far as our station too. But obviously, I think there's an opportunity to actually expand that, make the road and see about that piece to take it back there. I think it'd be fun for kids to be able to go back to the fire department and then actually go back to the back and fish. They just need a road to get back there to stock the pond.
Yes, sir.
So I think that'd be fun. It's just another thing we are trying to put a number of things out for kids to do, all kinds of things they might like. Fishing is another one out there. You know, we have like some other entertainment that we're gonna put in the park and obviously the aquatic center, but I think it's important to know some things like this, as simple as they are, is a great thing for a grandparent to take their kid fishing. All right,
You have any questions about this day, just reach out to me anytime.
okay?
Thank you all.
All right. Mr. Darren, you wanna come up here and say anything, or you just wanna hang out and just say, hey, are you guys good back here in the police department? All right, it's good. I know Tom's not here, and then I know I've talked to, and they really, just so you know, they are repairing a clarifier right now at the wastewater treatment. It's really kind of a serious thing, but they've got it pretty much worked up. Everything's been in control. We don't have like a lot of crazy rain right now. They're trying to get this thing repaired. They've got it actually, they're pulling at the motor. They gotta take it back to the shop and repair it. Because the options that were there before were a little scarier than this, but from talking to Scott today, I think everything's good. We'll keep you guys posted if something happens to be a little more dire than that, but they seem to be doing good. We have, you have Brenda today. You have anything you want to add to everybody? No, Nikki's doing good. All right. All right, but I always gonna throw her in there. So we do appreciate Nikki take care. Brenda's on vacation this week, so good stuff. But anyway, so with that said, I got council. Rob, let's start with you.
Okay. Went by the park the other day, saw the drainage pipes going in. Very excited about that. So that's about all I have right now.
Yeah. It's, just so you know, we got notified today as they were digging about 2.5 feet in the ground, some artifacts. Just some, like a couple of little arrowheads. They don't know for sure what it truly is, but, and part of the thing is with the grants that we received, we have an archaeologist out there.
We have to have archaeologists now.
So it's just a little setback in the sense of we want to make sure that everything's good, but it's kind of exciting, kind of, because, you know, I mean, when you think about, yes.
So does that add cost onto the project?
No, it's delayed more than anything else because of
Okay.
just it's more of a delay at this point.
Maybe it goes to our history museum.
Yeah, that's what I was
What's
gonna say, it should go into the little building.
So, I want to bring that up, but I'll bring that up in a minute. It's really cool. I went by there today. David Strange and the team are doing an awesome job. But Rob, yes, I'm very excited about you. I was over there walking around the park day.
So they found a well under where Salt River Brewing is going.
Huh? Well, they found one, they found that at the wine and coffee shop.
Yep.
Right?
Speaking
No?
of history.
Right, thank you, Rob.
Would
Right.
we get to keep the artifacts? Or do
N-
what's the
I
rules
would-
on
uh,
that?
uh, and it's really more, that right now it's identified just
I thought you
rock.
couldn't
They
move
don't,
it.
they don't know that, no, it's just, they're looking like the arrowheads, because that, they have found, if you look at throughout this area, you can find the arrowheads.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a cool thing.
but they just have to make sure there's.
So do we get to keep it?
No. I wouldn't think of that as keep it.
Well, who
Ar-
keeps it?
Archaeologists, take it somewhere.
We
Right.
might not get to keep it, Jennifer.
Miss Jennifer?
I don't have anything.
Okay, good to see you. All right. Miss Faith?
Oh, I have a couple things.
All right.
And you and I talked about it.
Huh?
No surprise. So,
What you got?
first thing is, I talked to the mayor about doing a project.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
And the project is to, have a couple more signs, because when you're coming from Mount Washington down 44, there's no sign that says welcome to Shepherdsville. There's a sign that says welcome to Mount Washington, but no Shepherdsville. So I talked to him about that, and then we want one coming in from the north. And possibly if we can get enough money or whatever, or get some funding, we might even do it at the, other end, like, 44 West.
So so what is it? We used to have a sign on Preston when you came down, when they did the 4 lanes, they took it out.
Oh, I was gonna say, I
Remember
thought it was
that?
still there.
No, it's gone. You remember the sign, we had a sign right there past 1020. It was on the right there. Yeah, so we're gonna look at putting it, I do actually, then the other piece that we're talking about is, if I'd like to see it as you leave, as you come from Mount Washington to us, it'd be at the paintball.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where it'd be, right to the paintball, and you would see it as you come in to the city, going west on 44. We want a sign there, and we want a sign on Preston, and then we've got a small one
Coming up from.
from 61, coming up.
Yeah.
So but I think if we just look at, and 44 actually we could actually do a little nicer sign, because as we continue we're sprucing up our city, it'd be nice to have nice signs in all 4 directions.
Yeah.
So we are gonna work that, and I wanted to start with the Preston, and I want to start with the 44
And the 44.
West, coming back from Mount Washington.
Jim and I talked, and we wanna try to stay with the granite, like in the middle of town. So, Jose, I've already put in 2 calls.
Okay.
And they're supposed to call me back this week, and then we'll come meet with you.
Okay, and she's also gonna work at Walmart to pay the extra, she's working the second shift. Thank you so much.
I offered to pay for it until he said, well, I want to
No.
pay it, and I'm like, no.
No.
it's fine, pay for it."
No.
No, we can't get the neon lights, the neon flashing
There we go.
lights.
What kind of,
That'd be
I would
fun.
like people to know what exciting city we live in, that they're gonna be actually come into, so we'll figure that out. But I do like that idea a
I
lot.
got the ideal from Beautify Bluegrass, and
Mm-hmm.
I've already submitted a plan. You had to have the volunteers and what you're gonna do, and blah, blah, blah. But I got his permission before I did it.
Absolutely.
And I've got volunteers set up, some are landscapers, so
Oh,
I
cool.
need landscaping. And, so got that on the road. I'll know more about it probably Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, just let me know, we'll get together with that. I'm excited about that, I want to have signs there.
And then, when are we gonna get a copy of the budget?
You will get it, the first week of April.
Okay.
You'll have all the budget, you'll have the ordinance that gets approved, you'll have a full line by line. It's basically, I'm finishing now, I sent an email out to the department heads to give you some times, the dates that you guys can meet with those guys.
Okay.
To sit down and go within, it's 1%, it's 1% more in revenue dollars than we spent last year. So we didn't do a whole lot of crazy stuff, but we did move some money around for some different things, and we obviously have the money allocated for finishing up the big projects that we have. Because we still have money that's allocated, we have $1.2 million that's gonna be allocated for sidewalks, repairs of roads and drainage. I mean, which obviously, those are opportunities for us. And for everybody here, I want everybody to hear this, goes right now for everybody, the South Preston, where the Louisville water went through.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. I was gonna-
Okay, I've got to make sure that you all know, okay, that is their responsibility. They have tore that road up really bad, I know, I've seen some things about that, but it is going to be, Louisville Water is supposed to come back in and redo that road in the springtime. So I want to make sure everybody knows that, so tell your friends. I've seen a couple things on Facebook, and I want to make sure people know that, yes, it is not our responsibility, but we'll be following up with them to make sure it get done. I have no idea what the timetable is. We were just told in the spring that once they finish that part of the line, as they move further down Preston, that they would take care of that. Now, that's the Louisville Water. I don't want to speak about them. I just know.
I know a guy that's on that project, and I talked to him about it. He said it
Yeah.
would be about spring.
Yeah, so they're gonna come back and really clean up real nice. So after they get finished, we'll take a look at what they didn't do and make sure that our parts look good too. So I wanted you all to know that. All right, all right.
And I have one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a fundraiser, it's called Yellowstone, it's at the conference center on April the 10th. I think it's gonna be really fun. It's Roll Call Foundation.
Uh-huh.
And what they do is, every penny they get from this is the honor flight system. They'll pay for honor flights. Then last year, I think they paid for 10, that's what he told me. He said sales are down a little bit, so, but, I mean, I think it's gonna be kind of fun. It's cowboy games, line dancing, auction, dinner, live music, so if anybody wants a ticket, come see me and I can give you the phone number to call. But Roll Call Foundation, they're easy to find.
Yeah, yeah. They do a good job
I
having our
told him
veterans.
I'd throw it out there. Yeah, I've been going out on sites with him, helping him build ramps.
Uh-huh.
It's fun as heck, man. I've been having a ball.
So if you need anybody doing a ramp,
Yeah.
You've got your
I'm not
woman right
real
there.
good with the screwdriver, though, I'll tell you that.
well, Faith, thank you so much for
I've asked
that.
Dawn about it.
And just so she mentioned signs, one of the things, Gracie Schmidt, who's one of our Eagle Scout candidate, is actually gonna build a sign on Plum that says, "Welcome to Shepherdsville City Park." It's gonna be a sign, you have it like a dawn to dusk, and then they'll have like 2 posts, and then in the ground, they're gonna put a flower bed with it. So we're working on that now. Sam's working with them, and Tom and Scott and Arthur, making sure where we wanna put it, cause that's gonna be the gate to come in, cause First Street will not be an entrance anymore, entrance to the park. All right, just so you guys know.
Just add something.
Absolutely.
Because, me and Faith are working on the roads
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
with Tom.
Oh, yes.
And I had actually drove the Old Preston this weekend.
It's like boom, 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 boom.
It is really bad,
It's really
yes
bad.
it is, and I was gonna ask Tom if it was state, county, or us, but thank you for updating. But I just want everybody in the city to know that if you see a weird girl in a white car taking pictures of streets
Me
and
too.
concrete, it is me. It is not anybody weird, so, yeah, don't worry, I am taking pictures
They don't
of
need to call the
roads.
police?
And if so, there is a grant she can apply for to help pay for it.
Oh, cool, okay,
And so she said when she finds something out, she'll get with Sam.
okay.
And so that's where we're at on that project right now.
That sounds good though, yeah, that's good. And so Sam's really we're getting her more involved in a lot of stuff with the park, and she's obviously taking care of some things. We are trying, just so you all know, as far as, the Greater Football League, we are trying to find a practice field for them. I mean, obviously, as a lot of the schools are not working as much to have the places to practice. So we're right now looking for a place. We're probably gonna use real close to the baseball fields for right now for them on the Buckman side of the park. But there are some other places that they're looking as well. And we're hoping that we have something for them that they can use and that they can all schedule time on there. So some of these schools really struggle to just find a piece of grass to practice on. And so we're gonna try to help them out with that a little bit. We actually had it designed in the original designs for the park plan, but some of the mitigation in the wetlands, we had to move the dog park over. We couldn't put the amphitheater down there by the river. That's a no-no. Corps of Engineers said no. So we moved it up to that. So that's kind of created some moving pieces around. That would have been really cool down there, but I think it might have been a construction nightmare. Yeah, and then people falling off into the river. So you don't care about those people? Okay. Falling out. Anyway, I appreciate everybody's comments
Sound
tonight.
liability waivers, we're good.
What's that?
Sound liability waivers, we're
Alright.
good.
All right, we're about 2 minutes over what I thought we'd do. I thought pretty good to that. Anyway, listen, do we have any other comments? Good? I need a motion.
Motion.
All right.
Second.
Oh, who got that one?
Got it.
I said,
Jennifer?
I think, yeah, I think you got, all right, you wanna get a roll call for us? Yeah.
What is second?
All right, Mike?
Yes.
Faith?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes,
All right. Hey, and by the way, I'll get that information. You'll get scanned for all the bids, and then you'll get all the floor plans and stuff for the housing. Okay? Thank you. Oh, really? Okay. Uh-oh. Is it Kitty?